Good afternoon, a very warm welcome to Namur here in Belgium. We're about 50 minutes from Brussels as we get ready to bring you our live coverage of the UCI Women's World Cup. This is round 4 of what has been a sparkling series of races so far this season. We have seen some real tussles as these riders have made their way through the different competitions. Let's take a little look then at the length of the course. Here we are. This is the course that the riders face today, 2.5 kilometers, as they make their way out of what is probably the toughest start in the Women's World Cup, or both the Men's and Women's World Cup this season. Weather conditions today then, 6 degrees centigrade. It's very chilly up here. The wind chill factor is making it an awful lot colder than that. And as you can see, it is a little bit muddy out here. It has rained for pretty much all of the week in the build-up to this year's race. There's the pits area. They're going to be very, very busy today. And there are the standings after the Milton Keynes round of the World Cup. Sani Kant is the leader with 148 points. Katie Compton is in second. Nikki Harris in third place. Here's the start list then of the riders who will be taking to the start. We have got, I think, the best field that we've seen assembled for a Women's World Cup cyclocross in, well, certainly in the last few years. We're going to see 59 riders taking to the start, 14 nations. And there's the rundown of the riders. Here's previous winners of this race, and of course last season we saw what was a real tussle out on the course with Katie Compton, Marianne Voss and Nikki Harris. So the riders then are on the start line, and it is a fantastic field of women riders taking to the start. Big smiles there, of course, from Eva Lechner as she takes to the start of a Women's World Cup. Marianne Voss is back. She is taking to the start line of a cyclocross for the first time this season. There is the World Cup leader, Sani Kant, in the white colours. Alongside her is Nikki Harris. Looking pretty composed is Nikki Harris today. Third in Milton Keynes. Now lies, of course, third overall. There is Ellen van Looy, who so far this season is fourth overall in the World Cup. Katie Compton alongside, second in the World Cup so far, but has not really had it to her liking so far this season. Helen Wyman then, who is sixth overall in this World Cup, the British champion. And as you can see then, all the riders are lined up. Now, if you take a look at the start of this, they go along cobbles, all uphill, and then it is a really tough uphill kick, which takes them right up past the to the castle at the very, very top of the hill. The green lights are on, and this race is now underway. Well, right at the front there is Marianne Voss as she goes charging right off the start line. And Marianne Voss, and there's a few problems here at the back, and one rider, that's Denisa Mirakova of the Czech Republic, right at the back. But meanwhile, right up here at the front, Marianne Voss has had a very, very good start. A problem at the back here for Hannah Payton of Great Britain. And meanwhile, right at the front of the race, there in the green, is Sophie de Boer in the green colours of her trade team. Previously, of course, has led this World Cup. And Sophie de Boer looks like she is the rider who is setting the tempo. There is Amira Mella of Great Britain. Further on back, riders being held up. But at the front now, it is the Italian champion, Eva Lechner, who is the rider who's setting the tempo now. And Eva Lechner is a rider who has been mentioned at the start as a possible problem for the main animators of the World Cup so far. Hannah Payton having terrible mechanical problems here. And we've seen this quite a lot this season. We saw Sven Nys also stopped at the side of the track in Milton Keynes. Well, at the front now is Eva Lechner, followed by Sophie de Boer. And Eva Lechner is going out very, very early down the drop. Well, Eva Lechner making her way now down these. Some of these drop-offs are pretty fearsome, to be fair. If you walk around this course, you take a look at some of the drops that these riders have really got to face, and you can, and of course on camera, they never look as steep as they actually are. But Lechner is going out very, very early. Second, of course, in the World Championships. And is now opening up a little bit of an advantage, being chased here by Marianne Voss. Voss is incredible, isn't it? What she is like at the start of a season when she comes out and starts to compete. And these two have daylight now between them and Sophie de Boer. And it is a stunning field that is lined up here when you just run through the names that are involved in this World Cup cyclocross this time. It is absolutely incredible. Right, we'll take a look at who is trying to come across to these leaders as they go through the pits area for the first time. A little bit drier through here. And down the drop-off now goes Eva Lechner, a fantastic mountain biker, of course. And she is now opening up a big advantage on the rest of the field. Oh, look at that. Feet right out. And now these riders are just trying to get themselves across to Voss and Lechner. And just caught a glimpse there of Katie Compton, who has had one of her usual very steady starts. And you can't give Marianne Voss that much distance, because immediately the world champion has gone to the front of the race. Marianne Voss then, 7 times world champion, 6 wins in a row as she picks her way up that little climb. Behind her is Lechner. The next rider in the field is, there she is, the new world road race champion, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. As they go on to this drop-off, which is a really fearsome one, really steep. And further back, Helen Wyman just trying to make her way down that descent. But Marianne Voss now has opened up her advantage on the rest of the field. Eva Lechner in second place. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot in third. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, of course, national champion in cyclocross as they go through this adverse camber, and Voss immediately gets off. She's unable to keep the momentum going, but she decides to run her entire way across here. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, just to give you an idea about her run-up to this World Cup, was second in Overijse on the 7th of December and second in Hasselt on the 6th of December. Both of those with very, very good fields in them indeed. So Ferrand-Prévot deciding to start her season. And as she goes past there, it's great to see the World Road Race champion involved in the action. Meanwhile, up at the front, Marianne Voss looking still very, very good as she picks her way up the climb. And Lechner in second place. Well, I talked to Marianne Voss just before the start. Always good to catch up with her as she starts her season in cyclocross. And she said she wanted to start a little bit later. Last time she rode 3 races in October. She's not ridden anything at all. And Marianne Voss has gone up that climb, but in terms of how she has been doing, she has been out in Florida over the last few weeks training, and she's just been doing endurance training over there. She wanted to go somewhere nice and warm. I must admit, this morning when I was talking to her after she had done her warm-up, and it does make me smile when you see Marianne Voss, the world champion. She will go away. She doesn't give her bike to her mechanics at the end of her warm-up. She goes straight into the jet washes, and she washes her own bike, and then she brings it back to the team truck. And her team have got their entire bus here. But Marianne goes into her own little camper and just sits down and relax. Her dad is here as normal. He is always around at all her events. But she said that she wanted to spend a little time in the sunshine in Florida. A bit of an unusual place or a different place to go riding, but she's thoroughly enjoyed it. She said she wanted it to snow a little bit here so she could show off how brown she is. And I must admit, she is looking very well and very brown as well. But look at this, her advantage on the rest of the field, considering she has not ridden a cyclocross at all, is just growing all the time. And I must admit, when I saw Marianne earlier on today, she looks already very lean, very fit. You can see the brown legs from the training. Coming back here from Florida to the cold has not done her any harm whatsoever because she is dishing the pain out to everybody else. So there is number 45. That, of course, is Katarina Nash, the 37-year-old bronze medalist in the World Championships in 2011. As we wait to see Marianne Voss making her way across the line then to complete lap number 1. She goes past my commentary box, and her time for the opening lap, 8 minutes 36 seconds. Behind her in second place, looks like it will be Katarina Nash as she goes past me now, 13 seconds down. And behind Katarina Nash is going to be a big group now making their way across the line, being led at the front by Lucy Chanel Lefebvre. Behind her, Eva Lechner. Then Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, Sana Kant, the World Cup leader in 6th place. Katie Compton in 7th, 29 seconds down on Marianne Voss. Ellen Van Looy in 8th. Helen Wyman in 9th. Nikki Harris in 10th place. Well, it's interesting to see the way Marianne Voss has gone out here and opened up the advantage on everybody else. I was talking to Sana Kant before the start. There is Katie Compton making her way up to the top of this climb, which is so tough. When you walk up here, it's cobbles, then mud, then kind of a matting at the top. And it takes you right up past the castle, which is a hotel now at the top of the climb. And when you get to that point, you are way, way above Namur. There's Katarina Nash having to get off the bike there and run her way up to the top of the climb. Riding for her Luna Pro team. Of course, represents the Czech Republic. and is currently 18th in the UCI World Cup standings. Yeah, talking to Sanne Cant before the start, she actually said yesterday, lots of running, got sore legs after Essen, which was the race yesterday. Traditionally, Essen on the Saturday and then the World Cup on the Sunday. And she said that she was a little bit concerned in particular about Marianne Voss, Prevost, Katarina Nash and Lechner. Well, she was absolutely right to mention all those names because, as you can see, they are the names who are really up there in the mix at the moment. Voss leading. Oh, a crash there for Katarina Nash, making a mistake as she remounts. And in the under-23 race earlier on today, we had quite a few crashes just going under them, the netting there at the side of the track and having to remount. But Katarina Nash now in second place. So Sanne Cant was absolutely right to say Marianne Voss, Prevost, Nash and Lechner, because right now it's Marianne Voss who leads, Katarina Nash in second, and the battle for third place involves Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. Just to update you on other races so far today, we have seen Wout van Aert win the under-23 race. He won the race yesterday in Essen, beating Tom Musen and Rob Peters into second and third place, respectively. But Wout van Aert, of course, choosing to ride the under-23s this time. He was actually in second place until Mathieu van der Poel made a big mistake on one of the big drop-offs, and van der Poel was pretty heavily shaken. He then made another mistake a little bit later on as well. Well, Marianne Voss's advantage is now 22 seconds on the rest of the field as she makes this course look very simple. The way she picks her way up this climb onto the bike, immediately onto this drop-off, which is one that you do not want to get wrong at all. And Katarina Nash there in second, now being chased very, very hard by Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. Katie Compton now makes her way into fourth place. Behind her is Eva Lechner. And it looks to me like it is Ellen van Looy, I think, who's in sixth place, making her way up the climb. But slowly but surely, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot is starting to make a little bit of a charge. There she is. She makes her way around the corner. And they can see Marianne Voss in front of them now. Voss is keeping that momentum going. She's got the initiative on the rest of the field. There is Sanne Cant, who looks here like a pretty tired rider on this World Cup today. She did say this morning, I can feel it in my legs that I did a lot of running yesterday. The Essen course was very, very muddy yesterday. And she said that, well, the way she was talking may well not have 100% recovered. Yesterday, Sanne Cant was in second place. Sophie de Boer won it. Ellen van Looy was in third place. Nikki Harris was in fourth. Loes Sells was in fifth, and Havlikova was in sixth place. Recent World Cup, recent other cyclocross at a kind of World Cup level that we've seen. Sanne Cant took her 16th win of the season in Antwerp on the 13th of December. She's actually now won 14 UCI races and a further 2 Belgian races, making it 16 wins for the season. This gives you a good indication of just how tough this course is. You have to run all the way to the top of this climb and then go around the top and plunge back downhill. Katarina Nash, who lives in the United States, she won the Cross Vegas in 2013. A bit of an all-rounder, really. A little bit like Pauline Ferrand-Prévot and Marianne Voss. Marianne there. You can hear the tyres, can't you? Just staying in the middle of the track there. Now and then making her way onto the little bit of mud at the side. But Sanne really is suffering today. Look at this. The rider who is the leader of the World Cup is firmly back from the rest of the field now and going backwards. Did say to her before the start, how is your form compared to earlier on in the season? And she said, I'm not as good as I was 4 or 5 weeks ago, put it that way. And I think she has had so many big performances, so many big races, that maybe Sanne, who of course is only 24 years of age and with 16 wins in a season, maybe just suffering a little bit now and maybe needs a little bit of a rest for a few days just to recover those legs. Coming around then past the pits area. Marianne's looking for another clean bike. Here she goes. Remounts. Back onto the bike. Makes her way around here. She's going to complete lap number 2. Marianne Voss is certainly keeping her advantage on the rest of the field. Coming through after 2 laps of racing. And that time it was an 8:51 lap. Katie Compton is there. Well, let's get an idea of how the advantage is to Katarina Nash at that time, 16 seconds. So just to give you an indication, the gap is not growing considerably. It was 13 seconds at the end of lap number 1. It's 16 seconds now, and I think Katie Compton, don't know, look, she sometimes has a little bit of asthma problems, and right now she is gulping in the oxygen like mad. And Marianne Voss is being chased hard now here, and Katarina Nash is starting to close this advantage up a little bit. So maybe the fact that she's gone through and knows she was 13 seconds on lap number 1 and 16 on lap number 2, she's not losing any amount of distance. Sanne, her head does move a little bit under pressure, but right now she is really having to put in a big effort. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot making her way up the climb as Marianne Voss brakes hard. Look at that, just banks the bike over. And there is Ellen Van Looy working very hard behind her. This is Laura Verdonschot of Belgium in the blue colours, riding to what at the moment is looking like a very good position in terms of a World Cup. There is Helen Wyman, the British champion. And Sanne Cant is hauling this bike to the top of the climb. Well, there are days when you get out of bed, come out onto the race course, and sometimes the body just hasn't recovered. She's a tremendous competitor. Marianne Voss, look at the way she's just tracking this bike downhill. Katarina Nash, of course, she was a former skier. She was a skier from 94 to 2003. Twice took part in the Winter Olympics. Announced her retirement from mountain biking. But obviously that competitive spirit means that she is unable to keep away from top-level racing. So she's back out here and racing again as Voss uses her road speed to extremely good effect. Look at the power as she made her way out there. But I still think Katarina Nash is starting to close this. We'll get a good indication in a while. There's a little split point. That is a corner that's so tough to go round. And the split point is just about there. So I'll give you a good update there as to how we are doing in terms of the gap, whether it's coming down. And the answer is it is coming down because at the finish line, it was 16 seconds. At the split point, it's now 12 seconds. And Katarina Nash, being a little bit older, is more of a diesel engine, so she will take a little bit longer to warm up. Same with Katie Compton. But if she sees Marianne Voss in front of her and starts to close up, then she will start to accelerate. And right now, she looks like she has got this course a little bit more nailed as Marianne Voss goes stamping her way up this climb this time. Look at that. The effort of Voss. But she knows that Katarina Nash is getting closer to her. Onto the run-up this time. Lovely shot, giving us an indication of just how steep this rise is. As Voss really worked well there. Onto the drop-off. Doesn't make any mistake at all. Katarina Nash taking a little bit longer to go around that corner there. But she got the tracking just about right. Well, thanks to all of you for watching this UCI Women's World Cup. Do send me any Twitter messages if you would like to. At Ant McCrossan. You can, of course, follow at UCI Cyclo-Cross as well if you would like to join us and keep involved in the action. But thank you to all of you for your messages. I know we had a couple of little sound issues at the beginning, but it sounds like everything is now sorted out. Let's just run through for you then the current positions in this race. Marianne Voss is the leader. Katarina Nash is in second place. Katie Compton of the United States of America in third place. Now at 33 seconds is Katie Compton holding the deficit. Going past there. Just out of shot is Lucy Chanel Lefebvre as she goes down the drop-off. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot is in fourth place. Eva Lechner is in fifth. Ellen Van Looy in sixth. Lucy Chanel Lefebvre in seventh. Eighth place is Helen Wyman. Sana Kant is in ninth place. Sabrina Stultens is in ninth place. Is in 10th place so far in this race. Just to give you an update on other riders who are racing today. Just having a look to see where Nikki Harris is. Nikki Harris has been having injury problems and I think has already pulled out of this World Cup. I spoke to her before the start. She's had 12 days off the bike. Her IT band down her left leg has been giving her tremendous pain. She's had scans and a lot of treatment to try and sort out that IT band. And she didn't ride for 5 days after Milton Keynes. And look at this, Katarina Nash now is catching Marianne Voss. So she said she got off the podium at Milton Keynes after finishing third and couldn't ride her bike hardly back to her camper van after the race. As Katarina Nash now catches Marianne Voss on the course. And she said after that she had to... Just having a little look there, Marianne Voss with her right foot out of the pedals. She said she had 5 days off the bike, went out, couldn't ride at all then. So she then had a little bit more treatment, had some more scans, and the doctor said you need to stay off the bike completely. So she stayed off the bike for about 12 days in total. Her first major race was yesterday, where she rode in Essen. And Nikki was back on good form. She was in fourth place behind Sophie de Boer, Sana Kant, Ellen Van Looy, and Nikki Harris. was in fourth place, so she was going okay, but clearly maybe that injury is giving her a pain again today. A lot of running on this Namur course, and if your injuries are there, then you are certainly going to feel the pressure. But these two riders, meanwhile, are at the front of the race, and it's a tussle between Marianne Voss, the world champion, and Katarina Nash, who's going to go into the pits here. Voss decides not to go for a clean bike this time. This is going to be a very, very interesting race between these two. A few of you sending some questions in to me. Is there a noticeable advantage for disc brake users? 2 laps then to go as we race through here. And the lap that time was another steady one. 9 minutes and 8 seconds for Marianne Voss. But Katarina Nash did her lap that time in 8:51. Katie Compton then in third place now, has made her way steadily into that position, and she is 25 seconds down on the 2 leaders, with Nash now starting to exert her influence on Marianne Voss and trying to find out if Voss has got anything in the legs after being in Florida training on the road for so long. And Voss this time looks like she is starting to struggle up this rise. Look at that. Marianne Voss having to haul her way all the way to the top of that rise. So coming back to the question then about the noticeable advantage for disc brake users at Namur with the big drop-offs. I think the riders at the moment on disc brakes, I'm just looking here to see whether Katarina Nash is going to open up the advantage further on Marianne Voss, who really locked that one up as she went round the corner. And further on back is Sanna Kant, who's now 1 minute 24 seconds behind the duo who are in the lead. So a real turn up now as Katarina Nash really starts to accelerate and goes away from Marianne Voss. Do you know, it's interesting talking to the riders about disc brakes, and as you can see, Katarina Nash and Marianne Voss both have disc brakes on the bike. And I went to a talk with Katie Compton and Sven Nys a few weeks ago at Milton Keynes before the World Cup. And they were having a really interesting discussion because Sven Nys will not ride with disc brakes. He thinks that mentally, for him, he can't understand adding more weight to his bike. And Katie Compton was saying, but they weigh nothing. Like compared, it's the difference is so small, and compared to the braking capability, why would you not give it a go? And he was very much no, I'm going to stay with cantilever brakes. Helen Wyman absolutely believes in disc brakes, says they're absolutely fantastic. But talking to her mechanics and talking to her husband, Steph, who does set her bikes up, he says it really comes down to setting those brakes up properly, because if you don't have them set up properly, like Helen a couple of years ago, in fact, I think it was in this World Cup, her brakes failed going downhill, but it was purely down to them not being set up properly and the maintenance. And after that, they've really sorted it. They've really nailed the setup on the disc brakes, and she loves the fact that you can brake so quickly compared to cantilever brakes, where sometimes you don't know if you're going to stop. Compton, you'll notice, is on the cantilevers, but I can imagine that right now on these drop-offs, the disc brakes are a big advantage, and these two riders are both on them and seem to be using them to extremely good effect. Very, very good question, and I'm always asking the riders before the start. Are you on cantilevers? Are you on discs? Why are you choosing them? Just to get that feeling of exactly why they're using them, why they're making that equipment choice. Here we are then. Let's go back to the action as we see Katarina Nash, the leader of this World Cup, here in Namur with 2 laps of racing to go. Well, in fact, we're well into this penultimate lap of racing as she goes up the climb, and she's dishing some pain out here to Marianne Voss. She's really got that drop off, absolutely nailed, and she's putting Marianne Voss under pressure all the time when she goes down that descent. Oh, Voss hits the netting. That just shows she's a little bit tired here. Makes a mistake, and you don't see Marianne Voss make mistakes very often, and she's now handing another advantage to Katarina Nash, the rider from the Czech Republic who lives in the United States of America. There we go. It's just caught her front wheel in the netting there. And now the advantage is growing. Well, this action is absolutely fantastic. It looked like Marianne Voss had this race won at the beginning, didn't it? She went away. She had an advantage of 16 seconds. But now she has got it all to do to try and come back to this rider who is absolutely motoring right now. Rides for the Luna team, as you can see. Oh, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot also has a crash. She went sliding off round that corner. That's going to shake her up as well. Well, Katarina Nash really motoring along here. And the crowd appreciating the work being done here by this rider. Look at her go. Thanks to Simon Burney pointing out that Katie's chosen to ride her cantilever brakes today. I noticed that when she came past me just now, that she's gone for that. But Marianne Voss now really having to keep the momentum going on that bike uphill. Well, it was stunning to see the way she went out from the start. She was funny at the start of this race. She said, I wanted it to snow. I mentioned earlier. So I had my white World Champs kit and the snow and looked really brown. And those legs are brown, aren't they? But so are Katarina Nash's, she's got the total measure of this race so far. Voss going plunging downhill very, very quickly. Taking a look at the way she nailed that corner. Well, further on down, Lucy Chanel Lefebvre. There is Sanne Kant. Oh, did you hear the breathing then of Marianne Voss? Going past that microphone. That shows you how hard she is working right now. Katie Compton making her way through the mud there. And as you can see, the wind in the background, I tell you, it's absolutely freezing up here. As Katarina Nash now swaps herself onto another bike. And Marianne Voss is now giving this full throttle to try and come back to the leader of this World Cup. So I'm just going to give you the update then as Katarina Nash goes through. Marianne Voss here is making her way onto the finishing straight again, and this is the last lap coming up. So Katarina Nash, 1 lap to go. But I'll give you an idea right now. Her lap that time is the fastest lap. God, the bell's a little bit quiet in the background, isn't it? 8:41 was her lap that time, Katarina Nash, compared to 8:36 for the opening lap. However, the opening lap starts from a different position. So it's the fastest lap of any of the laps we have seen on this circuit so far. And she is now 33 seconds ahead of Marianne Voss. Katie Compton is in 3rd place and is 1 minute down. Katie Compton then making her way up this climb. She is holding on to 3rd place so far this season in terms of the World Cup. She's had 4 wins last year, 21 World Cup wins so far, over 100 wins in her career. First in Valkenburg, 2nd in Milton Keynes, Katie Compton. There is Sanna Kant, who has just crossed the line now in front of me in 8th place at 1 minute 55 seconds down on this rider, who is absolutely motoring. Helen Wyman. Well, you just have to admire the way that this rider has gone about her business on this race today. Marianne Voss's lap time, that time was 9:15. Katie Compton's was 9:16.4. Ellen Van Looy 9:05. Eva Lechner 9:13. Katarina Nash 8:41. Now, she just has to concentrate. She has to focus hard and not let Marianne Voss come back to her. There is Voss making her way out on the course again round this little turn. Katarina Nash will just be hoping that everything holds together. Going round through the split point, I'll be able to give you an idea of how things are going compared to Marianne Voss. Remember, it was 33 seconds last time. Down the drop-off, does that nicely. She just seems to have this course completely sorted out. Lives in Truckee in the United States of America. And in terms of recent results, she really has focused mainly on mountain biking. She was 3rd in the Rome World Cup in 2013. She rode the Olympic Games, of course, and she switched from being a skier. She's also finished 2nd in a World Cup previously, back in 2012, but this would be an absolutely massive win here. Marianne Voss is still working hard here, being urged on by the crowd. Shoulders a bike, jumps back on again onto that drop-off that she looked so fantastic through in the first couple of laps. Still does. But Katarina Nash just keeping the traction going, just desperately trying to not have to get off that bike and run. And in third place, Katie Compton, making her way through the mud.
Ja, Sanne Kant, voor goed te doen zou ze toch moeten een gooi zien doen naar die zesde plaats. Momenteel achtste positie, daar slaagt ze voorlopig al nog niet in. Ze heeft wel een heel...
So let's just run through the standings then. Right now, Katarina Nash is the leader. Marianne Voss in second. Katie Compton in third. Ellen Van Looy, we're just... seeing there, going through the picture, is in fourth place. Eva Lechner, the early leader, is in fifth. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, the world champion on the road, is in sixth place. Lucy Chanel Lefebvre in seventh. Sanne Cant, the World Cup leader, in eighth place. Helen Wyman of Great Britain, the British champion, in ninth. Sabrina Stultens is in 10th place right now. She's got those spotty gloves on today. Maybe they're her lucky gloves. Oh, a crash there for Ellen Van Looy. Just that adverse camber causing her a problem. She went very low there and just couldn't keep straight. There we are, watch this. She had nowhere to go, toppling over. Luckily, just didn't hit that post. And that's going to give Pauline Ferrand-Prévot a little bit of impetus now as they make their way out onto this little bit more levelled off part of the course after so many riders have ridden along here. There's a nice track for them to ride. Katie Compton with the stars and stripes all over the bike and helmet and everything else. There is Lucy Chanel Lefebvre. There is Sanne Cant, who actually is starting to look a little bit better now. Don't forget, today we also have coverage of the men's race. So the standings in the World Cup look like this before the start, and she's not got far to go now. Sanne Cant was the leader with 148 points. Katie Compton with 132. Nikki Harris with 110. So right now, Sanne Cant could be dropping her way out of the overall. But let's turn our attention to this rider. What a fantastic day. High fives all round. Because Katarina Nash is going to win the World Cup here in Namur. Her first victory in the World Cup since the 23rd of October 2011. What a day out for her. That was a stunning ride. In second place then, making her way up towards the finish line, is the world champion. You just have to admire the way that she is able to go away, to train, to ride the road, to go out and set her stall out to everyone else, and still hold on and come through in second place. And I tell you, Marianne Voss will be very happy with this performance. You can see the smile, because she said to me before the start, it's a good test. It'll give me a good indication of how I am compared to everybody else, and you're always that little bit nervous. She even admitted to being that little bit nervous before the start. Marianne Voss finishes 34 seconds down. In third place then is Katie Compton of the United States of America. So Katie Compton will score some very valuable points here. And there is a chance of Katie Compton going back to the top of the leaderboard. Ellen Van Looy then, coming in towards the finish line. She will finish in fourth despite that big tumble. And just getting a quick update. Thanks very much to Matt Bramier. That Nikki Harris, those British fans who are watching, punctured out on the course. And her leg is actually fine. So we were just wondering and hoping she was okay. There is Ellen Van Looy crossing the line. Behind her, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, the French champion. So thanks to Matt Bramier for updating us that Nikki punctured. I was hoping her leg would be okay, as I'm sure all her fans were. Punctured and had a long way to go to come back across the line. Right, here is the World Cup leader finishing now. And that is Sanne Cant. So she's finished in 6th place now. She's managed to salvage that a little bit. She was a lot further down than that earlier on. And the rest of the riders making their way to the finish line now. Helen Wyman finishing in 9th place. So I'm just having a quick look to do my little bit of arithmetic as to how we do in terms of the overall World Cup lead. And how things will look at the end of the race. But here we are, big smiles then. That was a fantastic performance, wasn't it, by Katarina Nash? So we'll just enjoy watching the rest of the riders make their way into the finish. Well, thank you to all of you for joining me for this World Cup today. We will have the men's race. Just to update you, Sven Nys is not riding. And I'm just working out the standings as to how they will be at the end of today's race. And by my reckoning, I think that Sanne Cant will be the leader of the World Cup by, I'm pretty sure, 1 point from Katie Compton. It's going to be very, very close between those two riders as we go into the next round, which will be on Boxing Day in Zolder. 26th of December. There's those two riders congratulating each other. Well, the story of the race, really, Katarina Nash, the end of lap number 1, she was 13 seconds down. She was 16 seconds down at the end of lap 2. And then she got going. She put in an 8:minute 51 lap compared to 9 minutes and 8 seconds to Marianne Voss. She caught her and she took the win. And there they are congratulating each other because, of course, Katarina Nash lives now and races in the United States. And the rest of the riders making their way into the finish line. Still a few riders out on the course. Thanks very much to all of you for all your messages and your insights. I mentioned that Katarina Nash is a winner of Cross Vegas. She's actually won it 3 times. And thanks very much to the promoter of Cross Vegas for sending me that little bit of insight and information. Here's the unofficial result. Katarina Nash of the Czech Republic wins in 44 minutes 15 seconds. Marianne Voss, the world champion, in 2nd place. Katie Compton in 3rd for the United States of America. Ellen Van Looy in 4th. Ferran Prevot in 5th. Sanne Kant in 6th place today. There's the top 20. And if you're ever thinking of coming to a cyclocross and you're thinking, right, which one can I go to? There are so many, of course, of the World Cups that we can get to pretty easily. But this one, you just get yourself into Brussels, and then it's about 45 minutes, 50 minutes in the car to the circuit. And it's right up here at the top of the hill. And Namur is pretty nice at Christmas time with the lights out and a little bit of an ice rink in the middle and all sorts of things. Well, the mechanics are going to be very, very busy as they get these bikes cleaned off. And my calculations were correct. 1 point now separates the Belgian rider Sanne Kant with 178 points to the 177 now of Katie Compton. Things shuffle around a little bit. Ellen Van Looy consistent into 3rd place, Wyman into 4th, and that was the rest of the riders for you. Don't forget to visit uci.ch. That's where you can get all the results of these World Cups, all the standings, all the dates and everything else. And thanks for all your questions, and if I haven't answered all of you, I apologise. But that's the Christmas calendar that all the cyclocross fans are obviously buying here. But no, thank you to all of you for your messages. I haven't answered them all. I apologise. We'll try and answer them another time. Some great questions from you about some of the technical setups and everything else that these bikes have. So the men's race will be coming up. We're going to bring you that. There are 63 riders signed on for the race, 17 nations represented. The bars are busy. It's Frites, it's beers, and the mulled wine is also out. Well, we're going to hear now, I think, from the animator of today's race here in Namur. Well, an insightful interview there by Katarina Nash, and she's firmly now put herself in there with a chance of winning this World Championship. Of course, this year is in Tabor in the Czech Republic, and that's where she won her World Cup previously, I mentioned at the finish line, on October the 23rd, 2011. Can she be the world champion at 37 years of age? An impressive performance by Katarina Nash today. Here we are, looking at the highlights. Even making a few mistakes along the way, it still meant that she came out as the winner. This is the moment when Katarina Nash caught Marianne Voss, and then once she was there, she proves that the world champion is as human as the rest of us, or as close to anyway. Marianne Voss starting to be a little bit tired, making a few mistakes, which, to be fair, is to be expected. She's had a long road season and then a break. But Katarina Nash absolutely ecstatic with that victory today. And the world number one, that will give her enough morale ready for the World Championships. Katie Compton, I think, today suffered with the cold and her breathing. Well, here they are behind the podium, getting ready to go out. Marianne Voss, joking away. She loves riding her bike. That is the most important thing. So that's the behind the scenes as we get ready to bring them out onto the podium. Sanna Kant arrives. She will be the World Cup leader by 1 point. She's held on to it.
Voilà, mesdames et messieurs, la cérémonie protocolaire de la Coupe du Monde de cyclo-cross catégorie des femmes ici sur l'esplanade de la citadelle de Namur.
So the next round will be in Zolder. A little bit of a flatter course compared to today. As we follow Katie Compton out onto the stage. She's looking to see which side she should stand on. Marianne Voss then in second place today. All smiles from Katarina Nash. A fantastic victory by her today. It really was. It looked like it was going to be a Marianne Voss win, riding away from everyone else. Well, that'll keep them going over Christmas. Marianne's wondering where her crate of barrel of beer is, I think. Katarina Nash then wins here in Namur. In second place, the world champion Marianne Voss, and in third place, from the United States of America, Katie Compton. So we'll just see if we see the podium presentation of the World Cup leader. Well, I wonder how many people had Katarina Nash down as a possible winner of the World Championships in Tabor. Well, there we are. There's the podium. Sanne Cant will be the World Cup leader, but we're going to say goodbye to you now.